All right, hey guys, Mr. Kyle, Myers Mathematics, and let's just jump right into it. If you saw another video come out not that long ago, that was because I decided to make an extra video since some students are doing Algebra 1 and Geometry, so that was not part of this series. That was another video that's just, for Algebra 1 and Geometry EOCs. So go check that out. It's specifically the FSA EOC, so that would be for Florida. But some of the stuff could apply to you as well if you're in a different state. Don't know, really. It's just kind of for Florida stuff. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump in. Solve each inequality and graph its solution. This is really similar to the last one that we did. So what I'm going to say is similar to what I said in the last video that I did on this kind of thing. And that is, if I go a little fast explaining something, it's because I've already explained it in a previous video. So go check out the other videos. I've already done one-step inequalities, two-step inequalities. These are just multi-step, usually meaning more than two. So 3 or more steps to solve them. Okay, so that's really all that's happening here, and we're just going to go ahead and dive in. So let's rewrite this thing over off to the side here. 3 less than negative 5n plus 2n. Kind of make a divider there. Negative 5 plus 2n, that's going to be negative 3n. Okay. And then here I can either get the n on the left side by adding 3n to both sides and then subtracting 3 on both sides, or I can divide by a negative 3 to solve for n and then flip it. You can do it either way. I'm going to go ahead and just add 3n to both sides. So I'd have 3n plus 3 less than 0, because all that would cancel. And then I would subtract 3 from both sides. So 3n is less than negative 3. Divide by 3. And this probably would have been faster if I did it the other way, but whatever. Doing it this way, I don't have to flip the sign twice, because if I have to divide by a negative, I have to flip the sign. And if the n is on the right, you want to move it over to the left and flip the sign again. So I'd have to flip the sign twice. So doing it this way, I don't have to flip the sign. So just one of the ways you could have done that. But n is less than negative 1. Less than and greater than, that's going to be open circle. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to is a closed circle. So this is going to be an open circle at negative 1. And the little trick I like to do that I've done in previous videos is you draw an arrow. You just kind of draw a line that points towards the little inequality sign, and it makes an arrow that points to the left. So I want to go to the left. Let's get that. Now, that only works if the letter is on the left. So you got to make sure the letter is on the left. What's going to happen here is I'm going to add 6x and 6x and get 12x. Plus 2 less than 14. Subtract 2 on both sides. If I subtract 2 on both sides, I get 12x is less than 12. If I divide by 12 on both sides, I'm going to get x less than 1. I didn't show those in-between steps because I didn't really have a lot of space there, but that's what I did. I subtracted 2 on both sides, and then I divided by 12 on both sides. So I get x is less than 1. Open circle. Less than goes left. And if you didn't know what that sign was called, you could still use the arrow trick. The arrow points to the left, so I shade to the left. All right, and let's go ahead and change colors here. So we want to do negative p minus 4p. Okay, well, if it says negative p, how many p's is that? There's one of them. If there's no number, right, if I have a pen, that's 1 pen. So if it says negative p, that's negative 1p minus 4p. They both have the same sign, so I'm going to add them to negative 5p. Okay, then I want to divide both sides by negative 5. If I do that, I have to flip the sign. That's the only thing that's different about inequalities, is that I have to flip the sign. This is at 2, and I'm going left. All right, going left at 2. Here I'm going to add those 2 up. So actually, let me not get in the way of the line there. Let's get rid of that. 18 less than or equal to 5k plus 4k. 5k plus 4k is 9k. 18 divide by 9. And k Oh, look at that. K is on the wrong side, so I have to flip it over. I gotta have the letter on the left. Otherwise, that little trick that I showed you earlier doesn't work. So I gotta flip the sign as well. If I flip it around, I have to flip the sign as well. Okay? So now this is pointing to the left from 2. This is the first one that's a closed circle. It has the or equal to thing right here. So it's a closed circle and it's going left. All right. Next color. And we're moving down. Okay. And as we go here, if you feel like you've kind of got the gist of it, you're welcome to pause the video at some point and try to work out the problem yourself and see if we get the same answer. You can also look up this worksheet yourself. You just go to the title. So I'll scroll back up here. You just type in the title, multi-step inequalities, and then type in like Kuta or whatever. The word Kuta doesn't show up here, but it's a Kuta worksheet is what it's called. So multi-step inequalities, maybe also include infinite algebra 1, and it'll come right up and it'll have on the second page or third page or whatever the answers that you're looking for. Okay, so you can check that out if you want the answers. If you're stuck though, if you're trying to work out one of these problems and you're stuck, then just skip forward to whatever problem you're on in the video. I don't mind. Just go through to the place where you're stuck on a certain number and see how I solve that particular solution. Okay. So number 5, it looks like we can combine these two numbers. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. So this is 9 greater than or equal to negative 2m minus 1. I add 1 to both sides. And then I want to divide both sides by, yeah, let me go ahead and do this one a different way. So I showed you earlier how we can, if you have a negative on the right, you can just add it to both sides and then move it around. Let's go ahead and just solve this. So negative 2, negative 2. I'd have to flip the sign. So negative 5. And then if I want to put the letter on the left, which I always do, then I have to flip the sign back. Okay. This one's going to the right, starting at negative 5, including negative 5. And there we go. Here it looks like I want to distribute. So negative 3 minus 24x minus 36. And then I can combine some like terms here. Negative 36 minus 3 is negative 39. Then I can add 39 to both sides. So if I add 39 to both sides, then what I'm really doing is I'm subtracting. Because if I add 39, 39 is positive, but negative 111 is negative, so I'd actually be subtracting. Always subtract the bigger into the smaller. It makes more sense to do it that way. But then you would need to make the sign of the answer negative after we're done here. So 9, 10, 11, that'd be 2. I'd have to borrow, so that'd be a 10. All right, so then 3 from 10 would be 7, 72. Okay, and then I divide both sides by negative 24. And I think that goes in evenly 3 times. Yeah, it looks like it goes in 3 times. So x, and we had to divide by a negative, so don't forget to flip that sign, is negative 3. X less than negative 3. So here's 3. Oh, sorry, I don't want 3. I want negative 3. My bad. So we want negative 3, and we want to go to the left. All right, we want to go to the left because it points to the left. And let's change color. Light green. Okay, so again, we want to distribute. Another thing we could do, actually, is sometimes, instead of distributing, if, like, let's say every number here, if the 6, the 4, and the 122, if they all divided by 4, then we could actually do it that way as well. But usually you want to distribute first. So I would recommend distributing. But you could also subtract 6 on both sides. And then I think from there, that number would divide by 4. Because that would be 116. And that divides by 4. Yeah, so you could do it that way as well. But I'm going to go ahead and distribute. So 6 minus 24n minus 28 greater than or equal to 122. And then I can combine some like terms here. Negative 24n. Minus 22, 122. I would add 22 to both sides. add 22 to both sides, so 144, and then divide both sides by negative 24. Negative 24. So then n is less than or equal to, I have to flip the sign, and that looks like that's going to go in four times maybe? I don't know. No, because 4 and 4, that would be 16. 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 times. Yeah, 6. So 2, 6, 12, 4. Yeah, 6 times. Negative 6. N is less than or equal to negative 6. Here's negative 6. And it's less than or equal to that. Okay. So we can do it that way. We can also, let me show you a different way. So I could distribute the negative 6, but I have a sinking suspicion that 138 divides by 6. And here's how you could check. One, if you can use a calculator, you could just divide it by 6 and see if you get a decimal. If you don't, then it went in evenly. Also, 6 is 2 times 3, which means that if something divides by 6, it has to be even, which it is. 138 is even, and it has to divide by 3. And if it divides by 3, then the digits of the number add up to a number that divides by 3. The digits of the number add up to a number that divides by 3. So 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 8 is 12. 12 divides by 3, so 138 divides by 3. Seems a little weird at first, but it always works. And if you practice that a little bit, you will be able to tell pretty easily if something divides by 3. So this does divide by negative 6 then. And if I'm going to divide both sides by negative 6, I have to flip the sign. If I multiply or divide by a negative, I have to flip the sign. So 6b minus 7. I'm going to flip the sign. And then I need to see how many times that goes into 6. Well, let's see. If it goes in 120, 120 would be 20 times, right? And then it would go in 3 more times after that, so 23. So you could try that out and see and make sure that works. You could also divide it over here off to the side. 138 divided by 6. That would go in 2 times. 12, 1, drop the 8. 6 goes into 18 3 times. You could do it that way as well. I kind of just did it a little bit of a different way there, but there's a couple different ways you could try to divide numbers in your head. Here I would add 7 to both sides, so that's 30. And then divide both sides by positive 6, so I don't switch the sign, and that would be a 5, but I do want to switch the sign if I'm going to have the letter on the left, which it now is. I'm going to have an arrow that goes to the right from 5, including 5. And there we go. All right, next color. And I'm going to start picking up the pace here a little bit. So let me know in the comments below if I was going a little too fast and there was a problem that you kind of wished I was going a little slower on or whatever. Okay. If I subtract 6 on both sides here, I would get 161. Less than 7, 2 minus 7r. And I think 161 might divide by 7. 16 goes into 7 twice. 14. And I'd have 2 left over, so that does go in. It goes 2 left over would be 21, which would be 3. So this is 20. It goes in 23 times. If I divide both sides by 7, I'd get 23. Then I can subtract both sides by 2. And then I want to divide both sides by negative 7. So I need to flip the sign. If I divide both sides by negative 7, I have to flip the sign. 21 divided by negative 7 is negative 3. And then I need to flip it back because I need the r to be on the left-hand side. Okay. Open circle at negative 3, and I go left. Ooh, that one was a doozy. So 5, 6 plus 3r. If I subtract 7 on both sides, I get 120. Then I can divide both sides by 5. And that would be 60. No, 6. No, hold on. I'm not mathing right. 24. 24. There we go. Okay. Then we want to subtract 6 on both sides. So if I subtract 6, that's going to be 18. And then if I divide both sides by 3, then I get 6. So greater than or equal to 6. So it looks like that. Greater than goes to the right. All right, next color, yellow. We have 11 and 12 here. And we're coming to the end of the first page here, so we've got one more page here, and then the answers are after that. Okay? So here we go. We have negative 8 plus 2x, that's negative 6x, minus 16. I don't need to flip the sign. Negative 5x plus 7x is 2x. Then I want to, let's get the x on the left, because it's good to have the x on the left. That way you don't have to flip it. It's going to be negative, but, you know, it is what it is. Well, actually, I don't know. We can always just do this, I guess. I guess either way, we'd have to do some flipping stuff. So then this is going to be 8x, and then I divide both sides by 8, and I get negative 2, and then I need to flip this over. So x is greater than negative 2. Strictly greater than. Looks like that. All right, next one, negative 1 minus 6 is negative 7. Over here, looks like I can't really do anything. So let's add 7x to both sides. Add 7x to both sides. So the 7x would go away on the right-hand side. 7x minus 6x is x. Add 7 to both sides. And I would actually be subtracting, so I'd get negative 4. X is greater than negative 4. All right, so it should look like that. Next one, and next color. So we have an A on each side and a number on each side. No simplifying to do it first. I like to actually keep the variable positive if I can, even if it ends up on the right-hand side. That's what I usually prefer. But if you prefer to have your variable on the left-hand side, then that's up to you. So I'm going to subtract A on both sides. So then I would get plus 7a. Subtract 15 on both sides. Negative 21. Divide both sides by 7. So I would get that, and then I need to flip the a over, and it equals negative 3. Or greater than or equal to negative 3, I should say. So here's negative 3. Greater than or equal to is this way. And there we go. All right, we got a lot of things to do on the left-hand side over here. 13 minus 8. 13 minus 8 is going to be 5. 5 plus 6 is 11. So 2v plus 11 greater than negative v minus v. We want to add v to both sides. Subtract 11 on both sides. And then divide by 3 on both sides. So v is going to be greater than negative 6. So there we go. Let's go ahead and change colors again. And let's see, negative 5n minus 6n, that's negative 11n, less than or equal to. We can combine some n's on the right-hand side as well. Negative 8n minus n is minus 9n. So let's, this time I do want to have the n be negative just because I have one number on the right-hand side. So it's just going to make more sense to do it that way. So I'm going to add 9n to both sides and get negative 2n, less than or equal to 8. And then I want to divide both sides by negative 2. So n is going to be greater than or equal to, don't forget to flip the sign, negative 4. Greater than or equal to negative 4. So we'd go like this. And we're on to the next one. Okay, I don't think we're going to be able to divide by 7, so we should probably distribute that 7. Earlier, I wasn't distributing that number because both sides could divide by it, but it's not going to happen that way this time. So if I add x to both sides, if I add x to both sides, I would actually cancel this out. So I'd have 0 less than 7x minus 14. Then I add 14 to both sides. And then I divide by 7. And then I want to flip it around. So x is greater than 2. Greater than 2. So it looks like that. All right, next. Let's see here. So we've got a couple different things going on here. We can leave that negative 7 alone and see if it divides out eventually, but it doesn't look like it will. So let's go ahead and just distribute that as well. We'll go ahead and just distribute that. So negative 5n plus 6 greater than or equal to negative 7 times 5 is negative 35. Negative 7 times negative 6 is positive 42. Then we can combine some n's here, but let's go ahead and do a couple steps at once if we can manage it. Let's subtract 6 on both sides. So negative 5n greater than or equal to, let's combine the n's as well. They're both negative, so I'm going to add them. Negative 41n plus 36. Then I add 41n to both sides, so I'd actually be subtracting. That's going to be 36n greater than or equal to 36, which means n is greater than or equal to 1. Greater than or equal to 1. So that looks like that. All right, on to the next one. Go ahead and distribute. 3p minus 3 minus 5p greater than negative 3p minus 6. So we've got a negative 2p here. And let's go ahead and add 3p to both sides. So get p minus 3. And then add 3 to both sides. Add 3 to negative 6, and I get negative 3. So p is going to be greater than negative 3. Here's negative 3. Also, I'm not checking any of my work on these, so if I got one of them wrong, let me know. If you got a different answer, it could be that I got it wrong. There's a small chance I got it wrong. I'm not perfect. So always check it with the answers. And then also, if oh, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. All right, on to the next one. 19. Want to distribute the 7. 28 minus k greater than or equal to 7k minus 28. So we want to add k to both sides. Okay, so add k. Add k. And that's 1k, right? If it's k, it's 1k. If there's no number, there's a 1. And then we also want to add 28 to both sides. Let's go ahead and do that too. So we have 56 greater than or equal to 8k. And then we want to divide both sides by 8 and get 7. We got to flip it around. And so it's less than or equal to 7. All right, there we go. Number 20. Boom, boom. 28 minus 7x less than or equal to positive 28x. I don't need to flip the sign because even though I'm multiplying a negative number, I'm simplifying. I'm not doing multiplication or division on both sides of the inequality. I only need to flip the sign if I multiply or divide on both sides of the inequality. So positive 28x plus 28. And if I subtract 28 on both sides, that cancels actually. So I'm going to end up with 7 plus, if I add 7x to both sides. And this is going to end up being 0 because once I get rid of the number, the x ends up being 0. But this is going to be 35. Spoiler, right? 0. And if I divide by 35, I get 0 again. And then I want to flip it around. So x is greater than or equal to 0. All right. And next one. Running out of colors here. We've got 4 more. So here we go. We want to do double distributing here. So negative 6 minus 42k plus 7 plus 42k less than or equal to negative 2. And these k's are actually going to go away. Negative 42k plus 42k, that goes away. Oh, that's weird. So then negative 6 plus 7, that's 1. Is 1 less than or equal to negative 2? No, that's never true. And since the k's canceled, it doesn't matter what k you would plug in. So there's no solution. Because the k's cancel, it doesn't matter what you plug in. It's either always true or never true. and 1 is never less than or equal to negative 2. Therefore, we're done here. No solution. Right? You can do a little 0 with a slash through it if you want, but I would just leave it blank. Some teachers can be a little picky about that. Right? Next one. Negative 4 plus 4x minus 4x minus 20 less than or equal to negative 24. This looks like another one of those. Look at that. That cancels. Now, this doesn't automatically mean there's no solution. We have to figure out if the statement is true or not. Negative 24 less than or equal to negative 24. Is that true? Well, yeah. Negative 24 is not less than negative 24, but it is equal to itself. So this is true all the time. So you want to actually shade the whole thing. Because since the x canceled, it doesn't matter what you would plug in for x. It's always going to end up saying negative 24 is less than or equal to negative 24, which is always true. So you would shade the whole line to show that it's always true. All right. And last but not least, we have the last two here that I'm going to use a color for. And that's this one. Actually, let me go back because I just noticed everything here divides by 3. So if we divide everything by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3, then we would have 1 minus 2x less than 1 minus 2x, which, whoa, it's the same thing, right? So if I were to subtract 1 on both sides, that would cancel. If I add 2x on both sides, that cancels. So I get 0 is greater than 0. 0 is 0, but 0 is not greater than 0. You are never greater than yourself, right? That wouldn't make any sense. So no solution. No solution on there. And then last one, we would have negative 10 minus 12n less than 48 minus 12n. The 12n's cancel again. I'm going to add 12n on both sides, so that would cancel. And I have negative 10 less than 48. Is negative 10 less than 48? Yes. So therefore, all real solutions. Shade the whole thing. Just go crazy. And that is the end of this particular worksheet. I hope this has been helpful. If it has, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you haven't gotten my 5 math mistakes everyone makes and how to avoid them guide, it's on my website, myersmathematics.com. And I hope to see you in another episode